Hello, and welcome to the Next ReeVlog. I have things to talk about today and a minute amount of energy, but I must hurry. You know why I must hurry? Because I need to put fuel in the car, which is going to be expensive. But it's not going to be too expensive because it's a teeny tiny car. Speaking of the car, you know how I mentioned recently, I think, that engine management light came on, checked what it was a sensory thing, engine management light went off after we looked at it, and then it came back on again exactly a week and a day later. Well, that happened if I haven't mentioned it so far. However, when it came on the second time, it wasn't on the next time I used the car. Because it had come on though, I ordered the part and the tools to swap the part. Those arrived yesterday, so I have those now. They're going in the car. Hopefully, may never need to use them, but I figured it's come up every Sunday for the past 2 weeks. It comes up again today. You can just do a little wiggle with the tool, and that might be it. It might just be a bit loose or something. If it comes up this upcoming week on my longer journey that I'll be going on, then I can swap it. I can pull over, do some maintenance in a lay-by. Not the ideal thing to do, but it's a possibility, so I have that as an option. That's good. I have a book on Qigong coming today. I understand that in Western culture, spiritual practices like Qigong are pretty frowned upon. It's less, like, the amount of frowning upon them is lessening greatly over time as, like, the Ashtanga yoga and such like becomes more and more prevalent, thanks to influences, which, as sad as it is the case. Things like yoga are becoming more prevalent due to influencers. I'm not a huge fan of, like, people who are influencers, that's their job. People who are influencers by proxy, so they are like a YouTuber as their job, but that means they carry influence with lots of people, are just like low-key celebrities. So that's fine by me, kind of. There's always going to be things like that, like Torvald, the person who caught 7 deers in a day 7 billion years ago. Terrible example, 7 billion years ago. What am I thinking? It's very early. I've literally got up, gone to the loo, weighed myself, which is the next topic of conversation, provided I don't forget, come back, got dressed. That's all I've done. I poured myself this disgusting beverage of Shilajit and lemonade, because Shilajit, like, the directions for use is to have it with like hot water, so it kind of makes a tea, but it tastes so bad, and I don't want to waste like the few pennies boiling the kettle on a single mug of melted tar, effectively. So I figured I'd try it with carbonated drinks, like lemonade, as it's sort of the cheap standard mixer type drink. Works quite well. Doesn't taste as bad. Still doesn't taste nice, but tastes better. It's more tolerable, I suppose is the word. Still haven't noticed any benefits to it, like Shilajit in general, but who knows? I'm going to keep going till I run out. Yay! Yes, anyway, weight. That is the next topic of my discussion. So, I've gone back up again by 0.6 kilograms, so 600 grams, something like that, I don't know. That's understandable, because usually I've had a poop before weighing myself, like at some point relatively recently. I don't believe I had a poop at all yesterday, so that's a reasonable amount of poop, you know? So you've got to understand that there will be fluctuations. It's less than a kilogram's difference, and so I don't think it's a big deal. I don't look that different to how I did last month, to my memory. I've stopped with taking pictures and logging those. I don't have the excess energy for that right now, and I don't think it was making that much of a difference anyway. It is nice to see how far you've come if you're struggling with like confidence issues or you don't think you're making progress. However, I'm confident that I am making progress, and so I'm okay, you know. But to help with being healthier, especially considering like the recurring thing that all healthcare professionals and the internet seem to say is if you're having energy issues with chronic fatigue, even if it's fibromyalgia, eat right. It's hard because it's expensive and preparing food is exhausting, but that is the one thing, that and exercise, which I already do as much exercise as they recommend, really. Usually what they say is like do, between 20 and 60 minutes of walking 5 times a week. Well, I usually do between 20 and 60 minutes walking to work every day during the week. And then I also walk back about 10-15 minutes, back again 10-15 minutes, and back once more 10-15 minutes. Yay, every day. On top of which, I have Kung Fu on a Wednesday, and I have my client today. And then if my grandparents need any manual labour help, I do that. And then I do some very low intensity strength training here sometimes. Not as often as I'd like, but sometimes. So I'm hitting those exercise buttons, pow, pow, pow. Now I've just got to make sure I hit the diet buttons, which for finance reasons, I am going to be doing like a takeaway ban, blah, 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 which means if my flatmate is having takeaway and I hadn't planned to, no takeaway for me. Maybe I can be like, oh, if they have any, can you get like a Dr. Pepper or something like that? But in general, no. It means no more than one takeaway a week. If I have like a really, really bad day in terms of fatigue or stress or both, usually they will be coupled together at this point, because if I'm really tired, I'm going to get stressed much easier. But if something like that happens, boom, one takeaway. Come next year, when I start to run an in-person D&D once a month, hopefully everyone's agreed to it. I just need to actually get the details, plan it, and then be able to do it. Then take away that day. It's understandable, but I'm also going to see if I can potentially get into like low-level batch cook cool food stuff type deals, and have people bring ingredients or pay towards ingredients and do like kind of like a low intensity roast. There's not enough space in the kitchen to do that much, but just like get like a meat joint or whatever, whack it in the oven, do some vegetables, and then do some gravy or something. And if I can sort of figure out how to do it, get that on like a low temperature in the morning before people arrive, so it'll be ready for when we eat, and then we just have a break. We clear away most of the stuff on the table, perhaps, or we sit around not at the table, but like food on laps and stuff, turning around to face the kitchen, whatever, that sort of thing maybe, or something, I don't know, baking perhaps, and just be like, cool, we have cake for lunch. I don't know, that would be healthier. Maybe, I don't know, it'd be cheaper, that's for sure. And then that'll be it. So I don't aim to have one takeaway a week, but I aim to have no more than one takeaway a week. I'm aiming for one a month or thereabouts at most. I do believe that the 6-week period of not having any days on the van at work will help in terms of reducing the desire for a takeaway, because takeaways are something that I've kind of associated with long days out doing manual labour from when I was younger and used to do that with my grandfather. But also, it's a really long day. I don't want to come home from a 17-hour day, spend 40 minutes preparing some food, another half an hour cooking that food, and then just like forcing myself to eat it because I'm exhausted. And I also don't want to spend a 17-hour day eating whilst I'm out, buying food at petrol stations and feeling like crap because it's all terrible food, and I don't have the time beforehand or the energy the day beforehand to do healthy food prep for on a van. Is not good. The healthiest option that I really have at my disposal is Huel. I could get a flask of water, I get a pot of Huel, and I can mix them up in the van. Gross, but doable. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll need to do if I end up going on the vans. But yeah, so that's steps towards health. One last thing before I go, because I know I said I need to be quick, and it's already at 11 minutes. Last thing before I go is I have physio again. Whoop, whoop. It is for my foot. It is painful very frequently. The physio that I saw Friday said it would be, what does it say on here? Plantar fasciitis. Yes. In effect, it's something to do with the fascia and or tendon, is the theory. So, Dr. Rec was to do like tennis ball rolling, foam rolling, massage, that sort of thing, which I've been doing, and it helped the initial issue, but made a different and worse issue, which apparently matches all of the signs, because originally we thought it was the tendon, of it being a fascia issue. And so I've been given 3 courses of physio to do, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I tried the beginner yesterday after printing out the courses from an email they sent me, and I found it was easy. There was some pain. They said it should never go above like a 5 or a 6 on my own personal pain chart. I could probably be stabbed and it'd be like a 7. Not that I've been stabbed, I don't actually know what it feels like, but from stab-like experiences, such as stepping on thorns, that's the main one really. I stepped on a bee once. That sort of experience amplified out to much larger thing. Yeah, I would imagine it'd probably be like a 7. So just before being stabbed is the amount of pain I'm working with. And I think that the issue is going to be maintenance, because I need to do these physio things frequently, and that takes time and energy, and I need to make sure I do it. Thankfully, the beginner one I can kind of do at work, so if I'm doing paperwork, I can be sat down at the desk writing, and it's like doing this with my ankle, holding it here, and then going woo. So your foot's on the floor, you go whoop onto the balls of your feet, which will bring your knee up as well, whoop, and then back down again, to the point where you bring your toes up, so it's just your heel on the floor, which will work the old tib, good old tib, and then you hold that for 3 seconds at the top before repeating the process for like 10 times. Easy but time consuming, and ideally I want to do it on both feet, because whilst only one foot needs it, I figured if I do it on both feet, then they will both benefit. I've also been referred for CBT, cognitive cognitive behavioral therapy. I was combining words 1 and 2 there, and I got confused. Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy, to make sure I don't end up with the big sad, and also see whether it might be somehow contributing, like mental blocks and whatnot, contributing towards the big tired, and the random pains that I've always had, which is apparently not normal, and could be a sign of, sorry, little hip pop. Could be a sign of fibromyalgia from a younger age, less severe perhaps, and just been triggered, so to speak, by the traumatic event of Epstein-Barr virus, yada 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 yada. Anyway, I'm going to go down this, have a very quick brekkie, pop some shoes on, and go pop some petrol into the car, because it's very low. Wish me luck, and you'll catch a you cat sons a flippy flop. Goodbye.